We do apologize for bringing you this newscast a little late, a special edition that comes your way every Sunday, the weekly news roundup. Well, I believe you had great inspiration from Big Sam. Great praise, great worship, and of course a beautiful skit. Salute to the Gospel Hype team. Now, into our updates that you did miss out during the entire week. My name is Sandra Kahunde, coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. Straight into our activities. President Museveni this week addressed the 4th biannual private sector CEO retreat in Jinja and emphasized the importance of supporting the agricultural sector, particularly the sugarcane growers who have already received backing from the Uganda Development Bank. The president praised their potential to diversify their produce by creating not just sugar, but also ethanol and animal feeds, boosting the dairy industry in the region.
The 4th Biannual CEO Forum has concluded today with a call on putting emphasis on expanding the services sector, specifically tourism and hotels, to enhance Uganda's image as a desirable destination for both domestic and international travelers. President Yoweri Museveni emphasized the significance of investing in the knowledge economy. Museveni encouraged the use of skills and innovation to produce value-added products, enabling Uganda to compete effectively on a global scale.
The knowledge economy, where you use skills and innovation to produce products. So we have been funding these efforts. But initially, of course, we had a disturbance from the Ministry of Finance because they were not really supporting them fully.
Issues related to the environment and value addition of exports was also addressed.
But you are squandering, you are losing much more money by exporting unprocessed coffee. You are losing billions of dollars each year. Why don't you see that? That's a big loss. Is it something called opportunity cost, something you lose because you didn't? It's very high. When you export unprocessed raw materials, instead of finished products, you are losing a lot of money.
On the topic of timber exports, the president clarified his stance on value addition and discouraged the export of unprocessed timber and encouraged the local production of furniture, which can then be exported, thus creating added value for Uganda's timber resources.
Now, when it is coming from Congo, I think that one also we should persuade our Congolese friends to make furniture, because that one will be a loophole. They will take our timber, claiming it is coming from Congo. That lack of vision is what I cannot support. That State House, which we built in 2007, the furniture there is all imported. Can you imagine? That's how I called the controller who was there at that time. How can we sit on imported furniture here in Uganda?
Museveni called for the adoption of biosolutions for pest control in agriculture, citing the potential benefits for the dairy industry in particular.
We followed you in real time, particularly watching you on UBC television. About 99% of your speeches were talking about business and the economy. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. I was particularly touched with your meeting with President Putin, when you spent time talking about this very place, Killer Motors, on how we can develop our lithium into batteries, on how we can develop our own charging system, how we could develop our coffee from beans into a finished product. That is the leadership we've come to appreciate from Your Excellency.
Mentioning a vaccine being developed against ticks, the president stressed the importance of using biological methods to improve the quality of agricultural produce, including milk and beef.
Excellency, Killer Motors has prepared a business plan, 5 years business plan, which has been cleared by the National Planning Authority. And the business plan is costed at 524 billion Uganda shillings, And I would like to invite the industry chairpersons here, all the CEOs, to take interest in this investment opportunity.
Museveni urged the Prime Minister to take the lead in ensuring departments share information seamlessly for better governance. President concluded by encouraging local industries to embrace innovation, stressing the potential of the knowledge economy and the advantages of utilizing intellectual labor. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
In other updates, the former Chienda Mityana Diocese Vicar General, retired Reverend Lawrence Mukasa, is the third Bishop of Kasana-Luwero Diocese. Mukasa was installed Saturday during ceremonies held at Kasana-Luwero Cathedral and witnessed by several bishops, members of the clergy and the laity. Vice President Major Jessica Lupo represented President Yoweri Museveni at the function.
In this 32 motorcade was the newly appointed Bishop for Kasana-Luwero Diocese, the Right Reverend Lawrence Mukasa, as he made his way for Luwero consecration. In the areas of Lumansi, the border boundary between Luwero and Wakiso districts, the waiting Christians received the new bishop. Here, the chairperson of Uganda Episcopal Conference, also Mityana Diocese Bishop, Dr. Joseph Anthony Zwa, handed over Monsignor Lawrence Mukasa to Kasana-Luwero Diocese.
Linnya lya Keleziya, linnya lya Chienda Mityana Diocese, banjulira era mbakwasa omwepiskopi omulonde owa Kasana-Luwero, Papa gwalonze, Monsignor Lawrence.
Appointed on 29th April 2023 by Pope Francis, Bishop Lawrence Mukasa then embarked on the journey to Luwero Diocese. At Woblenzi Trading Center, a section of Christians seemed to have slept on the roadside to welcome their new shepherds. Bishop Lawrence Mukasa made a triumphant entry into Luwero and Kasana Diocese to excitement characterized by jubilations by a mammoth gathering.
Omusumba atuse! Agenda okuba omusumba n'ambasado atuse!
This procession ushered in the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Lupo, and the clergy. Thereafter, the consecration mass kicked off.
Dilecto Filio Laurentio Mukasa, Eclelo Diocesis Chiendaensis Mityanensis, Ibi.
The consecration liturgy was led by the former Kasana-Luwero Diocese Bishop, now the Kampala Archbishop, Right Reverend Paul Semogerere.
Ntuusa okusiima kwange eri abo abaddewo mu kulabirira essaza lino mu budde bwe litabadde na musumba.
And this was the beginning of the long-awaited consecration.
Kwako omuggo guno.
Kuli atutunuulire oyo ye musumba waffe abayetwaniriza omwepiskopi.
Omuvubuka eyazaalibwa e Nabwiri Mwera Parish mu Chienda Mityana Diocese kyolwaleero afuuka omwepiskopi ow'essaza lya Kasana-Luwero.
For every speaker alerted the main celebrant about what task lies ahead for him.
I want to tell you, my dear colleagues, here we are with mukwano gwaffe, omwana waffe nga ye bishop waffe wano. Katonda yeebalira aweebwe ekitiibwa. Ono bingi ebisoomooza ebitujjidde mu lugendo lwaffe olwa Kasana-Luwero. Okugeza nga ebyenfuna ebigootaanye, obwavu bukedde ejjembe mu bantu baffe, obukaafiiri n'okwesiga ebitaliimu,
obulwadde bwa mukenenya obwakusenya ebitundu bino olutalo lwaggwa emyaka gisusse mu 3 naye tukyalulojja enkaayana ku ttaka.
The Episcopal ordination was also witnessed by the Pope Nuncio Uganda, His Excellency Luigi Bianco. On his behalf, Bishop Lawrence Mukasa reaffirmed his dedication to serving Lord.
Thank you for representing His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, on this occasion of our Episcopal consecration. The Church and government have always been partners in the mission of governing and improving the lives of our people. Our respective mandates supplement the efforts of each other. There is always enough room to cooperate and work together. On behalf of the Diocese of Kasana-Luwero, I renew our continued cooperation and collaboration with the efforts of government for the betterment of the lives of our people in this local area.
The President's congratulations were delivered by the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo.
The Church has exploited the private sector-friendly policies of the NRM government to extend social services to the public. For instance, the Church has constructed a number of schools and hospitals across the country. This is proof that the Church leadership is concerned about the material well-being of the believers. I appeal to the new bishop to mobilize the diocese to participate in the wealth creation campaigns. As you are aware, government has rolled out the parish development model, which is aimed at improving the quality of life of all Ugandans by eradicating poverty at the household level. Through the parish development model, agriculture will be transformed from subsistence farming to commercial agriculture. I call upon the Church not to be limited to evangelism and preaching. We count on you to sensitize and teach our people the value of hard work.
The President donated a brand new car to facilitate the bishop's pastoral duties in his new diocese.
Bishop Lawrence Mukasa will now superintend over this diocese of Kasana-Luwero as the third bishop since its inception in 1997. Robert Nyango, UBC News, Kasana-Luwero.
Members of Parliament on the Committee of Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance this week appreciated why Uganda Broadcasting Corporation needs funding in order to improve service delivery. In a familiarization meeting with the management of UBC, the MPs questioned why the budget allocation to UBC has continued to be abused over time. In the previous financial year, 2022-2023, only 40% of the approved budget for UBC was released, according to UBC Director, the UBC Managing Director, Winston Agaba.
Parliament has questioned the spirit in which the subvention to the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has continued to hit a dead end. The UBC management, led by Winston Agaba, the MD, shared knowledge with the Parliamentary Committee on Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, chaired by Budiope MP, Moses Magogo.
Failure to service the aging and obsolete broadcasting and transmission equipment that frequently breaks down. Currently, the two live view machines are faulty, thus compromising live broadcasting.
Despite several presidential directives demanding that UBC be availed funding, even the approved finance by Parliament has remained uncertain.
The presidential directive is clear, UBC to receive 30 billion going forward, and this is the second or third presidential directive to that effect. So we are very optimistic that this directive will be followed, and it is clear because it spells out what we ought to do with that money. We have to revamp and make sure we have state-of-the-art equipment.
The MPs demanded that a meeting between the committee and the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development be convened to iron out the challenge.
For me, I think, Chair, you need to meet the President of this county as a committee as a committee for him to appreciate the challenges of UBC, because directives have been given. Directives have been given but not implemented. So where is the problem?
Let's have our internal interaction with the Minister of Finance, with the UBC. Eventually we shall seek also the engagement of His Excellency, because he has written a letter. But some of these letters have actually not been implemented. Maybe they are not practical as well. So when we finish all this, we want to engage even His Excellency the President himself, such that he is an interested party.
But we believe that with this engagement and engaging with Minister of Finance, we shall be able to have finance to prioritize some of the activities that must be done, because we believe that every Ugandan is entitled to the free-to-air viewing of television.
MD Agaba reminded the MPs of the $1 million debt with Intelsat, a satellite service provider, whose interest is accumulating despite the government promises to intervene.
Which has really curtailed all our endeavors to make sure that Signet is up and running, providing a service that all our clients on that platform can enjoy.
Parliament recently allocated funds to a tune of $7.5 billion to boost the free-to-air services through Signet, but this was not fulfilled. Since October 2022, the satellite service has been switched off by Intelsat, affecting the transmission of content to up-country, especially the direct-to-home service.
People should be watching free-to-air television services. So how do we get content up-country? One, we can use satellite, and two, we can use the fiber optic route. Now, NITAU is working on a project where they'll be able to connect all our 18 television sites using fiber. And then we hope to use satellite as a secondary means. However, government needs to pay the debt.
MD Agaba rubbished a myth by propagandists that UBC does not give space to all political players, as raised by the Mityana District Woman Member of Parliament, Joyce Bagala.
Please don't think about, oh, it is just government and this is what we need to do. If you invite particular people, are you gagged from inviting particular people on your platforms?
We have political programs that are running, and you'll attest to the fact that we have hosted almost all the political actors. Those that haven't appeared, it is by choice, because we have invited all the parties, and we shall continue engaging, and we believe that this is a platform where you ought to articulate your issues, either alternative to what government is saying or complementing what government is saying.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Relatedly, on the same conversation, the history of public broadcasters dates back in history when it was found necessary as communication technology advanced. William Odoch, who heads marketing at Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, asserts to the fact that the president's recent directive to fund UBC is a decision which comes in a bit late.
For over 2 decades, the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, has dominated airwaves across the world.
Now, the idea was to make sure that the British people had an infrastructure for public information.
According to the head of sales and marketing at UBC, Odoch William, what is started from Britain was later embraced by the rest of the world, including Africa.
Being a public broadcaster means that you should be able to cater for every interest.
Uganda not being exceptional, having formed its national broadcaster in the early 50s, its job was only one.
Unlike Kenya and Tanzania, Kenya Broadcasting was born in 1963. In Uganda, Radio Uganda was born in 1953. Now, it remained a department under different ministries: Information, Office of the President, Prime Minister's Office, now ICT and National Guidance. That happened until 1963 when UTV was born.
Odoch asserts to the fact that with the evolution of private media in Uganda in the 1980s, the government-owned media houses had a dry test.
You could no longer afford to take the viewers for granted. You cannot afford to take the audience for granted. You needed to improve on the quality of the service that you give. You needed to improve on the quality of the content that you give.
He notes that for the dark days came when government of Uganda liberalized the economy.
Many people could now switch because you had liberty to move from one station to another. So you are no longer confined to watching only one station, maybe UTV, which we used to watch then.
For government of Uganda took a path of capitalizing UTV and Radio Uganda through the 2005 UBC Act, to which many asserts need to be respected.
UBC Act spells out the mandate of a public service broadcaster, that is UBC. Number one, to develop a broadcast infrastructure across the country. Number two, to make sure that every citizen is able to receive information.
Although the UBC Act 2005 had a component and clause of TV tax, for years it has not been respected.
Now, one key area where UBC was supposed to be funded was through the TV tax.
It is therefore revealed that for close to 10 years since 2005, government of Uganda only sent 10 billion shillings to the national broadcaster.
At the time that UBC was formed, UBC had very old equipment from Radio Uganda and from UTV. Now, to get this to meet the current pace at which technology is developing, you cannot do that with that kind of budget.
With neighbors like Kenya, who funds the public broadcaster with 27 billion shillings per year, Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation pocketing 40 billion shillings annually, Uganda remains the poor facilitators to the state media, having received at one time shillings 1 billion every year.
So as a result of that, we don't have a way out but to turn to government, which is actually the owner of UBC.
And now President Kaguta Museveni's directive to monopolize government adverts to UBC is a move being welcomed.
And believe you me, if at all the president meant that it should be so, perhaps he can be persuaded to understand that there is need to support the private sector.
According to William Odok, it is written in black and white that UBC needs funds as of yesterday. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Wow, in other updates of the day, a sad one coming through. Uganda Police, Marine and the UPDF Fisheries Protection Unit have retrieved 5 bodies out of more than 20 passengers that drowned in Lake Victoria mid this week. Uganda Police Marine Commander Bamunova Wombaldo said they still expect around 15 to 16 bodies, and efforts to retrieve the remaining bodies still ongoing, and assured that bereaved family, friends and relatives not to lose hope as they work around the clock to retrieve other bodies. The cargo boat capsized en route from Kalangala district to Kasenyi landing site.
Uganda Police Marine, together with the UPDF Fisheries Protection Unit and local fishermen, continue with their search for more bodies of passengers who drowned in Lake Victoria after a boat capsized on Wednesday this week.
So yesterday, we were able to get 2 bodies. By this morning, we were able to get more 3 bodies, making a total of 5 bodies.
Despite challenging weather conditions on the lake, the police is tirelessly working around the clock to find more bodies. Marine police officials estimate that around 15 to 16 bodies are yet to be recovered from the waters.
As the bodies arrive, we call them to come and identify, and those who identify, we find the process of handing over the bodies. So the process is on, everybody has been registered, and those who claim to have lost their relatives, we recorded their statements.
I'm assuring the families that lost their beloved ones that we are trying our best to make sure that we recover all the bodies.
The Marine Police Commander attributes the accident to overloading of the cargo boat, strong winds on the lake and nighttime travel.
It had over 100 bags of charcoal, it had fish and other merchandise. So when you look at the strength and the capacity of the boat against the passengers and the goods that were loaded there, certainly the boat was overloaded. And when the waters became turbulent, certainly it was inevitable
In an effort to prevent similar accidents, Marine Police are urging fishermen and all water transport users to comply with wearing life jackets and to avoid boarding cargo boats.
Certainly, the police marines is mandated to enforce the laws on the waters of Uganda. And therefore, it is our mandate to ensure that whoever is traveling on water is safe, the boats are in safe condition, and the passengers are protected and their goods. In this particular incident, the time the boat set off, it was still too early that we were unable to intercept it.
The recovered bodies have been taken to Mulago Mortuary for further management and will be handed over to the families and relatives for an official send-off.
Another sad update that we did witness during the week. 2 lives on Friday in a car crash along Jinja-Kampala Highway at Kitigoma in Buikwe District Village. The accident involved 2 motor vehicles, Fuso Fighter registration number UBB 716F and a fuel Fuso tanker.
At least 2 people have been confirmed dead and others nursing injuries following a head-on collision of 2 vehicles at Kitigoma village along Jinja-Kampala Highway in Buikwe district. The accident involved 2 motor vehicles, Fuso Fighter truck registration number UBB 716F and a fuel tanker registration number UAY 077A stroke UAY 928A. The deceased are the Fuso truck drivers and his stuntman who died on spot, and their bodies have been conveyed to Jinja Mortuary. Meanwhile, the driver of the fuel tanker and his stuntman were also rushed to Jinja Hospital in critical condition for further management. According to preliminary findings by Njeru Police, the driver of the Fuso Fighter truck, who is yet to be identified, was traveling from Jinja towards Kampala when he veered into the opposite lane, colliding with the Mercedes-Benz fuel tanker.
And upon reaching Kitigoma, he left his lane and entered into another lane. I knocked a motor vehicle number UAY 077A stroke UAY 928A, a fuel tanker which was coming from Kampala.
Eyewitnesses, however, blamed the Fuso driver for the accident. Both motor vehicles have been removed from the scene of the accident. Police has called for vigilance and has urged all road users to prioritize road safety and avoid reckless driving.
Sudden update. Well, in other activities, the recent promotion of officers in the Uganda Police Force by the Inspector General of Police, Martin Okoth-Ochola, and His Excellency, the President, has caused a lot of excitement among the long-serving officers. In June this year, 9,312 officers were promoted in the country to different ranks, and celebrations have trickled down the different districts.
These are the officers promoted in Dokolo district. Twisting and whining in expression of joy. Last Friday, the same mood was seen at the Ras City Council Hall. 48 gazetted officers were picked by North Kyoga RPC Commissioner of Police Deo Bura. But in Dokolo, it was a joint celebration with the sister officers from Uganda Prison Service. They marched through the streets of Dokolo, led by North Kyoga Police Brass Band. This was after a significant mass promotion of 9,312 across different ranks in the country.
Exhibit credible
discipline in an area where you're working. You will find police work is very sweet, prisons work is very sweet, and you will also be surprised. You will begin asking Arabs, but why are you promoting me every weekend?
The pipped officers remained grateful to God and the appointing authority. They attributed the milestone to hard work and discipline.
Be patriotic, love your country and love yourself.
I would like to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda, SGP, the Minister of Internal Affairs for blessing us with promotion.
And we want police to support. He has a lot for the country. He needs you. He needs you. Without you, we cannot achieve in the implementation. Chairman talked about corruption. It's you people who are supposed to help us. Let us do all it takes to ensure the president is appreciated by the wananchi. Whatever you do in your office will make people appreciate him.
North Kyoga RPC asked police to prepare for retirement and cautioned the promoted against ego.
South and Central and still come back home. We want to find a warm house. Inspector of Police.
While the district chairperson wants police to actualize the president's strategy of 18 police officers per sub-county to fight crime.
The little I can ask is only 28. I have 14 sub-counties. Could give me 2 per sub-county, I would be really very, very grateful.
While meeting leaders from northern Uganda on security in May this year, President Museveni emphasized the need for more officers at the sub-county level for a quicker response in fighting criminality. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
The minority communities of Uganda this week convened to develop a special petition towards their struggle to attain rights to nationality. The Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, commended these stateless individuals for choosing the legal pathway other than anarchy.
At least 6 minority communities in Uganda are discriminated by laws and basic policies of the national administration. These people have no recognized citizenship and are unable to enjoy fundamental rights like health care, education, and freedom of movement for the lack of national recognized documents.
We are discriminated in many things. Like, for example, in our community, we are being called a word called Dorobo. And for other majority community, they take that as a derogative language to mean primitive people. And that one, we feel that bad.
The first one is to have a seat at the table where things are being talked about. And you are here, and we need more people to have seats at the table. And getting a seat at the table is not easy.
People under this category survive on false identities for travel documents. Stateless communities are dialoguing with relevant authorities for legal redress and inclusion in the national constitution.
Yes, there are some actually who have IDs, but disguised what? IDs. And you know what it means? There is total loss of esteem, you lose culture, your identity, you are camouflaging, traveling under false identification. It is very dangerous. If you went at an airport and then you had a problem, then they try to trace your origin and it fails. What happens? So it's not good. It's not.
The Constitution of Uganda is amended by 2005. Only 65 ethnic communities are recognized, leaving other tribes with unclear identities and vulnerable.
We can build a world where every individual is recognized, protected, and embraced as a citizen of a country.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees advised the government of Uganda to implement the pledge of including these groups by 2024.
We must collectively advocate for legal reforms, streamline citizenship procedures, and strengthen safeguards that prevent and reduce statelessness.
Let the hearings not just be in Parliament. Let the hearings go to the ground where the people are.
government is cognizant of the increasing number of stateless population and their potential threat to the security and economic planning of the country.
He knows what stateless people are doing in our neighborhood of the Great Lakes. They are the targets for recruitment by even terrorist groups.
The ethnic communities asserting for legal redress and inclusion in the Constitution of Uganda includes Bahaya, Bakabu, Bakingwe, Baziba, Maragori, Mosopishek, and Sabot. Abudu Nasele Luwama for UBC.
Residents and leaders in Rwanda district are growing increasingly frustrated with the Uganda National Roads Authority due to their lack of action in repairing the collapsed Kabale-Kisoro Road, which gave way 3 months ago. The road's collapse has disrupted transportation, inconvenienced the local community, and severely impacted economic activities. The trouble began on May 4th, 2023, when a small crack appeared at Bwara village in Hamurwa Town Council, Rwanda district.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and get a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret? Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM? Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk. No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving. Juko. I thought I was one of your friends. You are. But you left me behind. I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Introducing the Infinix Note 30 series in partnership with Airtel Uganda, a smartphone where style meets functionality. Take charge of the day with special features like the 108MP triple camera and 68 watts first charge, and the best part is you can use this phone to charge other phones. You also will enjoy free 3GB from Airtel every month for 3 months on each new device purchased. Dial *100#, select data and devices to get your free data. The Infinix Note 30 series Spark, a connection in partnership with Airtel, a reason to imagine.
The biggest, the baddest East African Christian Marathon is here. Come participate at the East African Christian Marathon for a prayer run on the 13th of August 2023 at the Lugogo Hockey Grounds. Come represent your family at the prayer run and run for a good cause to build the first call center, which will be East Africa's virtual listener. Come for the prayer run alongside your pastors, leaders, representatives from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, South Sudan, and of course Uganda. Participate with Honorable Captain Mike Mukula, who is the chief runner and patron. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Make your donation for your kid now from 20,000, 30,000 and 100,000 Uganda shillings, because runs change the world For more details, call 0781 885 055 or visit our website at www.eastafricachristianmarathon.org. Proudly sponsored by PKF, UPC, Venro Health, Aquafina, and Moving Preacher.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say. Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles? So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21# or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Welcome back. UBC Weekly News Roundup. On to business. Promotion of Coffee Value Edition will be high on agenda as 25 African coffee producing countries gather in Kampala for a 3-day summit. The summit seeks to tackle challenges in the coffee sector and come up with clear strategies geared at ensuring African coffee farmers reap big from one of the continent's leading cash crop.
The upcoming Africa Coffee Summit seeks to harness the significance of value addition and strategic positioning of coffee as a commodity that can accelerate Uganda and Africa's social and economic transformation.
The privilege of hosting the second summit in Uganda, the second coffee summit of heads of state, gives us as a country an unrivaled opportunity to market our coffee to African countries and deepen economic integration. As the President of Uganda, His Excellency John Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, continues to rally stakeholders in the coffee subsector to focus on value addition to increase income and support the government's economic agenda, I wish to challenge our coffee farmers, processors, and exporters to heed the President's message so that we can stop exporting raw coffee and therefore giving away our jobs.
Although coffee is a top cash crop globally and Africa is a major production sector player, its benefits to the farmers and economies is a matter of concern that needs urgent attention.
The real solution to the conundrum of low prices for coffee is what the Honorable Minister and the President have been emphasizing, which is value addition. Value addition. As has been emphasized before, if you add value, if you roast coffee and make it into powder and you sell coffee powder, the price is going to go up.
The coffee roadmap, developed with support from Uganda government, has been christened as game changer in shaping Uganda's coffee industry. With coffee market in Africa still not fully tapped into, this summit seeks to address the existing gaps.
As you know, we have a coffee roadmap which government helped us to develop. And this coffee roadmap specified certain goals, including the issue of provision of seedlings, the issue of addressing markets, and the issues of addressing inputs. And this is something that UCDA has consistently worked on. And on behalf of the board of UCDA, we are very focused on the mission of the roadmap.
Promotion of coffee domestic consumption, enhancement of consensus in Africa producing countries, expanding regional trade, among others, will be discussed during the summit. Crispus Arenaitwe, Dennis Sigowa, UBC News.
More business talk. The International University of East Africa has launched the IUEA Legal Tech Project along with the African Journal of Legal Issues in Technology and Information. This groundbreaking initiative seeks to synergize law and technology, making legal services more accessible than ever before. According to the esteemed Vice Chancellor of IUEA, Professor Emeka, this journal represents the first of its kind in Africa. Its primary goal is to empower law students by providing them with valuable insights into the evolving intersection of law and technology. Highlighting the importance of this project, the university's Dean of Law, Emmanuel Semanda, emphasizes the need for professionals to embrace the legal professionals to embrace advancements in information technology fully. With the IUEA Tech Projects and the African Journal of Legal Issues in Technology and Information, the university is at the forefront of fostering innovation and progress in the legal field across Africa.
Today at IUEA, we are launching the Legal Tech Project. We are also launching the African Journal for Law and Technology. This journal and the Legal Tech Project, it's one of its kind. It's the first in Africa. And what it does is that it treats the intersection of law and technology. We are known as the Technological University of Choice. So we are encouraging all our faculties to bring together what they teach, whether it's in law, in business, bring them together with technology. So today we are launching the Legal Tech Project, and the Legal Tech Project makes it possible and easy for people to find legal services. That is what the Legal Tech Project is aimed at doing, but it also aims at teaching our students how law is changing, because today technology drives everything.
As the International University of East Africa, we are the Technological University of Choice, so we focus our research and teaching on technology and innovation, and there's no exception for the Faculty of Law. Lawyers are living in a world which has a lot of technology, which has a lot of advancement in terms of innovation and improvement of services. So there's no doubt that we have to conduct research as a university that informs the future and the direction of technology and innovation. We should not stop or wait for foreign universities or for other foreign parties to advise us on how technology and innovation should work for the Ugandan legal sector. It's very important for Ugandans themselves, for Africans themselves, to take up research and understand an unbiased direction that advantages them and that benefits them in terms of technology and innovation. So the journal that we launched today is a compendium of research on the various new developments in technology and how they interact with law. For example, cryptocurrencies, how do they interact with our banking laws, and how can we shape them, and how can we shape our banking laws to accommodate them or to expunge them from our system if they're not necessary. We have single windows for trade across Africa. How do we use technology and the law to make them work? We're in an age of digitalization, which has a lot of impact on human rights and a lot of impact on how society lives, and of course on our own democratic values. How does the law, how do our constitutional principles, how do our legal principles come in to manage those new innovations in the digital age in a way that maintains our human rights and democratic values?
UBC Weekly News Roundup. International update. Former U.S. President Donald Trump appeared before a federal judge Thursday afternoon in Washington, D.C. A federal grand jury indicted Trump Tuesday, accusing him of illegally trying to append his 2020 election laws to retain power. The Justice Department indictment accuses Trump of conspiring with allies to spread falsehoods and devise schemes intended to overturn his election laws to President Joe Biden as he lost numerous legal battles. Trump is the early front runner in the 2024 Republican presidential primary. He is now facing charges in a criminal case for the third time this year.
The Justice Department indictment accuses Trump of conspiring with allies to spread falsehoods and devise schemes intended to overturn his election loss to President Joe Biden, as he lost numerous legal battles. Trump is the early frontrunner in the 2024 Republican presidential primary. He is now facing charges in a criminal case for the third time this year. But this is the first case to try to hold Trump responsible for his efforts to stay in power during the chaotic weeks between his election loss on November 8, 2020, and his supporters attacking the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. VOA's Katherine Gibson has more on the former president's latest legal battle.
Not guilty. That's the plea former President Donald Trump entered Thursday in a Washington courtroom just down the street from the U.S. Capitol that was attacked on January 6, 2021 by rioters attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Trump answered charges handed down from a grand jury of American citizens based on a U.S. Department of Justice investigation alleging he committed conspiracy to defraud the government, obstructed an official proceeding, and conspired to obstruct an official proceeding. Trump said in a news conference later Thursday that he had the constitutional right to free speech to voice concerns about the election.
This is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America.
But his own vice president, who could be a key witness in the upcoming trial, disagrees.
I want the American people to know that I had no right to overturn the election. And then on that day, President Trump asked me to put him over the Constitution, but I chose the Constitution.
Trump, who is the current frontrunner for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, is not under arrest and will undergo a trial in the upcoming months.
We're in sort of uncharted territory. He can certainly run right now under indictment because he's not been proven guilty of anything, right? He's just been charged with crimes. And the way this will play out is we won't have a lot of these decisions till next year, possibly even after the election.
Trump also faces criminal charges in New York and Florida related to allegations of campaign fraud and mishandling of classified documents.
This, in some ways, is the most serious because it really goes to the heart of our democracy and how we count people's votes. But on the other hand, Trump is going to argue that he believed this to be true, that he believed that he won the election and therefore that he was not defrauding the United States.
Outside the courthouse Thursday, the former president's supporters said they still strongly support him.
I really believe that he's defending the people, and we're in return showing our support to him, with our freedom of speech.
But for many Americans, just hundreds of yards from the Capitol that was attacked, the charges are a sign Trump is being held accountable.
It's very important that this is all being documented officially in writing so that nothing happens like this in our country again, because this was a breaking point.
The trial date for the charges in the Washington federal court will be scheduled soon. Trump is set to go to trial in Florida next May. Katherine Gibson, VOA News, Washington.
Trump could face more charges this month related to his attempt to overturn his election loss. A prosecutor in Georgia is investigating whether he broke any state laws there. For TVRI World, I'm Chris Casquejo, VOA News, Washington.
More international updates. Survivors recall a suicide bombing that killed at least 54 people and wounded 100 at a political rally in northwest Pakistan held by a religious group allied with the government. The Islamic State, Khorasan extremist group, claimed responsibility in a statement on its Telegram channel on July 31st.
ځای نه و، نه په ایمرجنسي کې ځای و، نه په نور هسپتال کې ځای و. ډېر بد حال و. مړي پراته و، زخمیان و. نه پکې ډاکټر پته لګېده، نه پکې د مریض پته لګېده. بد حالات و. بیا خود مارکیټ مرګرو زه ویوړم پرایویټ هسپتال ته بار مدینې ته. هلته سمیع الله سرجن و. هغوی ما ته د دې نه چرې ویستې او د غوږو نه را درې څلور سټیچه ورکړه.
د هغې استقبال ته موږ پاڅېدلو. کله چې موږ پاڅېدو بعضې ملګري بیا کېناستل او بعضې لا ولاړو. په دغه وخت کې یو بلاسټینګ وشو، بیا موږ ته پته نه ده لګېدلې چې د کم طرف نه و، خو دومره اندازه راته لګي چې د چپ سایډ نه، ځکه چې د چپ طرف دا غوږونه چې څومره ملګري دي هلته هغې دا پردې شرېدلي دي او زخمیان. بیا موږ زخمیان وو، هر سړی په خپل ځان باندې سړک ته په ځان په زبلۍ باندې راووتلو. دغه ځای نه بس اپنے مدد آپ کے تحت هسپتال ته رالو.
Thank you so much for joining us and following up these updates. It's a wrap from us. Wishing you a beautiful afternoon and a fruitful week ahead. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Greetings from the team behind the scene. Keep watching the National Broadcaster. God bless you.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say.
Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles?
So, to join many more other Ugandans